we go. So, welcome aboard. I've got, oh, that one didn't need to be there. This is Design 301. It's our lecture on Tuesday, October 12th, and we are on Google Meet. Let's see what's up for this week. Our focus is going to be on doing a complete drawing, and we'll go over what that means. We'll be focusing on AutoCAD again. We've got the two lectures. I don't think I've got anything in the playlist. It'll just be the lectures that show up in there. No reading list. But we do have a number of work plates for you to go over. And Cynthia, I will check and see and double check. Yes, the recording is going. So that's a good reminder. And so the goal is that you'll pick 3 plates from the folder and you'll make a complete drawing. So it'll obviously be the thing, the drawing itself, plus title block, annotations, and dimensions. And you will use industry standard layers and dimensions. And I'll be going over those for you so that you have a good idea of what they are. And then you'll just pop those 3 onto your submittal template and you'll be set. So let's take a look and see. Oh, also just as an aside, I have not graded the midterms yet. I've got 1 out of my 3 courses done. So sometime today or tomorrow, you should start seeing grades being done for Design 301. So you can just keep an eye on it for sure by the end of Wednesday. So let's take a look in this folder and we'll see what they look like. I've got it open twice here, so let me do it here. There is a choice of an architectural drawing, a floor plan. It will look mostly like this, but it will be an architectural drawing, and it will be to scale. So you'll need to read these dimensions and draw it out. And I'll show you what the layers should be. Walls should be on the wall layer. Windows should be on the window layer. Doors should be on the door layer. This is a beam that's going to be staying there, but it's showing up like this was a ceiling reflected view. And so you just draw this all up. Wall layer, window layer, door layer, dimension layer, deck layer. And it doesn't really say what these walls are. So we will estimate that they are 2 by 4s. And so that would be 3.5 inches. If you want to consider that they're 2 by 6, it actually says in this whole project somewhere what it is. But if you want to, oh, here it is right here. 2 by 6, 16 inch on center. So since that's a 2 by 6, you draw it at 5 1/2 inch. We draw the frame dimension, not in this case the finish exterior or interior. Okay, so you'll just draw this up as an architect, and you'll put it on an architectural title block and use architectural dim styles. Here's one that's a civil, and this one again you'll draw up, but there's no dimensions, so you'll trace it. You'll put it in and you'll trace it, and you'll make it look as much like this as you can. You might use different hatches instead of these regions, but you'll do all of the good annotations and the arrows and all this kind of stuff, and you'll put it on a civil title block. This one is an electrical. It's an interior design in actuality, telling somebody that you want a two-way switching, also known as double throw. And telling the person which way you want it wired. There's numerous ways to wire a two-way switch, and so this one is saying it wants to be done as a three-wire method. I don't know why you would actually call that out. Electricians know how to do this stuff, but it's kind of cool. So you would draw this one and you would make it look as much like this as you can. You would do some sort of a cool hatch pattern and solid, and you would do these colors, and this would then go onto a sketch template title block. This one is landscaping. This is actually one of my drawings that you can work with. This had some extra stuff in it that's been, so these don't need to be black. This was a this was a projection of a 3D model, so some of it's showing up a little bit different. But you would basically, this one you would trace unless you had all of these, but it's just showing how a valve station goes in, and the water comes in, goes through a pressure reducing valve, through a backflow preventer, through a relief valve, and then back out. So you could, this is basically a landscape drawing, and it's a marketing drawing. This is a very, very successful product that I was part of the development team for this. This is just a plain old mechanical one. So if you're into mechanical drawings, you do not need to put in the 3D view. You may choose to do so if you want, but that's not part of it. It's the front view and the top view, pretty much done like this. And this one's missing something. I took this from a student. It wasn't quite all the way done. But this is a weldment drawing. You can see that this leg down here isn't carried down over here. So this is a weldment assembly drawing, and so you could create this drawing, and it's just kind of cool. And you would draw some ellipses and circles and things like that. So it is a little bit more advanced. It's easier to do in Inventor or 3D, but I threw it in there just in case somebody kind of wanted to do one like this. Okay, so those are the things that you could choose from. This one, you read the dimensions and draw it. This one, you would trace it. This one, you would trace it, and fill in the blanks. And this one, you would read the dimensions. So you need to pick 3 of those and create the drawings. So I think I'll do this one first. That's just what I'll jump in, and let's see if anybody has a comment, any questions about that. My plan for this week is I'm just going to draw them all and show you how to do it. Okay. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to set my background a little bit funny. And your background should definitely be different than this. There we go. Okay, so you should not have my background on it at all. All right, so here we go. Here I am in VMware. And I think it'll be easiest for me bring my size down a little bit here and to have this showing over to the right just as a reference. And I know these dimensions close enough that I can kind of tell what those are, and I'll pop them up bigger if I want. So I'm going to draw this shell. and then I'm going to offset it. But first, I need, of course, my layers. Remember how I get that? I can open my resource file. Now I have to find my resource file. Oh, look how long ago. Where is my resource file? Don't tell me I have to go download it. I might have been in the wrong one. There's my resource file. Because that one has all my good stuff in it, right? So I want to do DC for Design Center, and I want to get all my cool stuff out of it. Let me look at my open drawings and my resource, and I'll look first on my layers. And I'll probably want a construction, a depth point, certainly dimensions. Now, I'll probably be working on thick and thin, but I need that hidden line and I'll need text. So I for sure need those. And my layout, I see this as being like a 1 to 48 scale, and I could probably fit it on an A size, but I like to have plenty of room. So I'm going to use, whoop, did I just do that all wrong? Yep, I put all those layers in the wrong one. Shame on me. Let me go get them back. Put them in the one that they belonged in. There we go. There's all my layers, and then I want a layout that will probably be a B-size layout. And because I like to keep things simple, I'm going to delete those ones I don't want. Otherwise, I'm afraid it'll get in my way. So let's see now. What have I got? I've got a title block, and I've got all of this kind of stuff, and I've got the, you know what I don't have, which I probably need, is a dim style. Right? Because I want, and I'm going to do it on my piece of paper. So it's going to be architectural, scale factor 1, because my piece of paper is exactly the size that I want. Okay, so I'm probably ready to go. And I happen to know that walls go on a thick layer, but I'm going to make one called A-wall. And it's going to be kind of like my thick layer. So I'll make a new one, A-wall, and that'll match up. And then my door and my window are usually on another one that are similar to the thin. So I'll do A-door and A-window. And A-door, A-wall, A-window. Okay. So I've got, oh, and then I need an A-deck. And I'm saying A- because that's what's going to be drawn by the architect. So on my wall layer, the next thing I need to do is make sure that I'm talking like an architect. So here's my architectural inches. That all looks good. I'll just give 1 more degree just in case. And that means when I use the foot and inches symbols, it'll be okay. So I see 36 inches, 36 feet, sorry. So I'm going to type 36 with the foot symbol. And I'll double click my mouse wheel and that gets me all the way. And then it looks like normally this would be dimensioned here, but they didn't. So I have to figure it out. It's 12 feet. 24 minus 12. So it's 12 feet up. Over 8 feet. Up 12 feet. Over 22 feet. Down 6 feet. Over 6 feet. And then back down to the beginning. And now I have to offset those all in 5.5. I don't need to type inches because it'll know that I mean inches. And I'm doing this kind of the hard way. If that was a polyline, it would offset it all in one command. Now I need to make these inside corners match. So that will be my fillet command. And I'll do multiple so I don't have to keep typing over and over again. Okay, so there's a question about changing them to the polyline, and I'll do that in just a moment to demonstrate. Because while this gets the job done, it's a little bit slower. So if I want to change a whole set to a polyline, I type P edit. Polyline edit. Enter. And then I type M for multiple because I'm going to do multiple lines. And then I select which ones I want to make into a single polyline. And of course, this would be a fast selection if I didn't have all those other lines in the way. Enter. And then they're not polylines yet, so do I want to convert them? Yes. And then what do I want to do? I want to join them all into one. This fuzz distance thing says, if there's a mistake, can I just correct for it? And I just leave that alone. And I say close. And then it's all one. Then if I do my offset, there it goes. All is one. So that's the polyline command. Now I'm going to undo that. And I'll explode that back so they're just lines, so I was doing it the same way. Okay, so let's see what I've got. Oh, yep. Now, it looks like my line weights are set pretty thick. I'm going to turn those down a little bit. There we go. My line weights are set pretty thick. I'll just leave them off for now. Okay, so there I've got that. That's pretty cool. Now, how do I draw a door that looks like that? Well, it says the door is a 36 by 6'8", 3 foot. So let me just draw something over here, and I'll put it on the door level layer. 3 feet. And then I know it's got to open 3 feet in the other direction because that's. And I would draw an arc. And I know the center, the start, and the end. The center will be here. The start will be here. Remember, it goes counterclockwise. So there I've got the most simplistic door I could. I want to be to show it like they do. Now, normally you don't show a door like that. And then if you want to put the threshold on it, oop, it was too far. And of course, if you made this into a block, you could do it to your heart's content, not have to make a new one all the time for future reference. So there's a typical door that might get drawn. Okay, to make it into a block, remember I go create a block, door by 6'8". And I say when I put it in, I want to line that up with my wall. And I want to select these objects. And there we go. Oh, can't do that. There. Now to put my door in, I can move this from the midpoint. So some of this is just kind of thinking through ahead of time. And Cynthia, yes.
Can you explain what that block was that you did? Is that just something that you can recall up?
Yep. So now if I go insert block, and it'll count them later on, which is what's really the cool part. Is you can count how many of these blocks you've put in, which is really nice. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a trim. And it won't let me, so I have to explode it. Actually, what I want to trim is that. There we go. That'll be close enough for what we're going to do. Okay, so you get the idea. You'll just go through and draw it. You need to put this little post in. You need to put this post in. I see that this will be a hidden line across here. I'll put my beam in as a hidden line. So you'll just start doing all of your good work. Okay, so there's the start of my drawing. And I did this all in the wrong file. I can't believe that. How did I get myself so mixed up? I definitely don't want all that in this file. I may have to do it all over again. Nope, there it goes. I need to go find that. So, boy, I was very sloppy. I am sorry about that. I need my dim style. There we go. Yes, Cynthia.
Can you move your block as well?
Yep. Once it's in there, it's in there.
No, what I meant is, wasn't the block on the resource file, not the
Yeah, but
one
when you copy it, it actually copies the block. Also, see how the block is still in here?
Yes, thank you.
Isn't that cool? It does make life better for us. Okay, so now I've got this and I'm ready to do my next part. I have a title block. Everything's all cool and groovy. So remember, I need to go to my layout and make a rectangular viewport. But I need to do that on the def points layer so it doesn't show up. There it is. And remember, I need to change it to model space so I can do the scale. And I believe that 1 inch, 1/4 inch equals a foot works very well. Okay, so that's just playing around with it. And remember, I like to lock it. There we go. And I'll go back to my paper space. There we go. So now I have that kind of a funny look. Yours needs to be white, but I'm doing this so that you can't just snip my work. Easy. Okay, so here I go to home, and now I want to be on my dimension layer. And I'll go to my annotations, and I'll set my dimensioning to be my architectural. And I'm not sure if it's correct, but I think it probably is. And I'll just start laying these in as close as I can. So from the outside to the midpoint. And I didn't put mine in exactly the same spot, but you know, you'll do what you do. It'll be okay. You can do a better job. From the outside to the outside, and that's my first level. And then I do want to find this post in here. So how am I going to get that into the right spot? Well, I think what I would do to put the post in is probably draw it. And I don't really have one, so I'll just put it on the thick layer. And then I just move it into place. And it says from this outside one, and I'm not really sure, that's probably to the center. So let me just move it 8 feet. And that's probably pretty close to where it's supposed to go. You can put your dimensions on it. And it's not really clear to me where it is. So I'll put it to that inside of the post. right? And so you'll just keep going and you'll get as many of these dimensions as close as you can. Here's something that says porch, and that's just a DT, remember? So now I can go to my text layer, DT, maybe middle center here. 3/16 sounds okay. And it's going to be either 90 or minus 90. I'll try minus 90. And I don't think I can underline it just in here. So if I wanted to underline it, I'd have to actually draw a line. Potentially we've got some edits I can do on that, but I think that looks fine. That's usually you put the underline in the dim style. Okay, and then I can see that that there'll be something here. Now this doesn't have to be sideways. As a matter of fact, it really shouldn't. In reality, you're supposed to look at things either from the right hand side of the page or the bottom. So I can rotate that to here or to here to just do a better job. Okay, now these should be 1/8 inch tall. So let's take a look at my dimensioning standard and see what they were in. So dim styles, and I want to modify it. And I want to look at my text. My text is 3/32, and it should either be 1/8 or 3/16. Now all of a sudden it's looking better. So you can adjust that as you wish. Okay, it should either be an 1/8 inch or 3/16. Now another thing that you might do on that is you'll notice this has zeros at the end. And so that's under primary units and somewhere in here. Hold on. Let's zero suppression. We'll take those off and we'll see if that does it. There it goes. So those are just some things that you can do. My main thing is that you have a title block. You have your work. You have dimensions. They're fairly standardized like you see here. Oh, this one I wanted to make sure that I had a leader to show. So you're getting all the things. And this is showing you do want to have an arrow here if you can, showing that that's your ingress for the building. So that's basically it. Okay? Any questions on that one? I don't know why that always does that. I wish it didn't, but it does, so we'll just go along with it. Yes, Cynthia.
So some things you just knew, like you put in 2 inches for the threshold, things of that nature, which I gather is from your experience. Do we need to do that or just do the best we can based upon that drawing?
Yeah, so this is an as-built type drawing. You would, of course, if you were really doing this, look up which one you wanted to do. I just wanted something that was sort of visible. So that's all I did there. So normally, yeah. So you would not look anything up unless you were really doing the design and had some real reason to use a specific threshold. Okay. There we go. And so now, of course, I want to save this. Always save your work. Save as. A few people said, I couldn't find my work. Please remember to save it. If you're working on VMware, you'll see that there's this thing with your W number on a U drive. You do not want the one from this PC. You want this one on the network. Okay, and then you want to go put it in there. So this is 301 fall. Needs to be week 9. And what was this one? This is called architectural drawing. There, I've got it. Okay, and you can take your snip or you can plot or whatever you'd like to do. But that would be considered a complete drawing. It's got a title block. It's got dimensions. It's got leaders. It's got different line types. It's got things on different layers. So that's what you would do. And of course, again, I just made mine blue so that you can't just take a snip out of the video. Okay. So up until this point, I haven't really cared, but now you need to be doing your own drawings. I cared, but I didn't make a big deal about it. Okay. So there's that one. Let's go ahead and do another one. So again, I'm going to need to open my resource file. I'll be able to find it. There we go. And let's take a look at what this one's going to look like. So I see thick, I see thin, I see some text, I see some graphic, I see some hatch. So maybe I'll kind of set it up that way. So let's see what I might be pulling into my drawing here. So in drawing 2, I'll want to say, look at my drawing 2, look at my design center. And I'll definitely need some layers. I might need construction. I might need depth points. I don't see any dimensions or hidden. I'll need text, thick, thin, and then I'll need something to put my hatch on. So, and my graphics. So I'll probably need to make those. And it looked like my graphics was some sort of a blue. Now in my drawing, and let me save this now. This is, what's it called? Civil drawing.
Civil.
Here we go. And you can see I'm not cruising along super fast. I'm just kind of taking my time, doing stuff, trying to move on as I go. But now I need a snip of this thing, right? And I know that's going to go onto a piece of paper. So let me just check and see how big this is. About 19 inches. And it's going to be on an 11 by 17. So I might just want to squeeze that down a little bit. So it'll fit on my, or maybe it'll fit on an 8.5 by 11. That actually might be better. So let me look at my layouts. I don't know which one I want. That might be a nice one to put it on. I'll put it on that one. I think it'll fit okay. Again, I'll get rid of my old ones. So these are just some of those things. Now, when you work for a larger company, of course, all of this is sort of automatic, right? Okay, now it's time to do some, and I'm not going to do everything. I'm just going to do part of it. So let me put myself, I see that this is going to be on a thick. For some reason, that one's a thick. Oh, let me put some transparency on that. That'll be a little bit better. So now one cool thing I can do here is make this one a polyline so I can set the size later on. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that one a polyline. And when I look at its properties, I can set its thickness, global width. That's kind of cool. Now you don't have to do that, but I got it kind of neato. So now, but where did I put that? That should be on my layer. And now I'm going to draw on my thin layer because a lot of it looks thin. Thought I put something over there. Maybe I missed it. And I'm not doing the greatest job here, am I? There we go. Now I got that one in there, and I'll need to. It was in there, huh? That's okay. And then I'll make another one right here. And I'll draw some sort of a line. It's there. So that shows you how you'll start making all of that, and you'll do some more tracing. Let me at least trace this one out. Hi, Alicia, good to have you in. And of course, then I need some sort of little circle in here. And I'm going to need hidden lines and stuff like that too, right? Um, but let's take a look now. I can do my hatch. I should use as my layer. Let me escape that and make sure that I'm on my hatch layer. There we go. And do a hatch and pick some sort of a, that looks like gravel. I'm not sure it's in here, but you can just pick something. There's gravel. And maybe change that size a little bit. That looks pretty good. So you'll put hatches in, you'll put concrete in, you'll do all that kind of stuff. And then of course, you'll want to make sure that you've got your text, and you'll be doing some leaders, and your leaders don't have to be perfectly straight. Quite frankly, that's not that common. Usually somebody would do something like this. And so you're allowed to do that if you want. There we go. And so you would get all of these in. This grass is a little problematic. So you might want to do something like just make yourself some grass like stuff. And then just copy that around. And this is another place that if you wanted to, you could depends on how much effort you want to put into it. Don't put a ton. That's how you can put that grass in there. Okay. This thing, tell you the truth, I think what I would be inclined to do. That's right. Don't get caught up in the weeds. I would do better than that. probably mirror 2 from the midpoint. There we go. That'll look right. And then you can either leave it like that or hatch it solid. There's a solid hatch in here. And then you can just copy that. Okay, so you'll do your drawing, you'll work on it, turn off the picture to check your tracing. So if you click on it, there's 2 ways to do it. One is just delete it and then do Control Z. That's what I usually do. The other way is to put it on a specific layer. Image. Here it is. There it is. And I'll put it on the image layer. And then you just turn your layer on and off. So both of those ways work. Okay, so there we go. Let's say I've got it all done, and I will turn my image layer off. And we come over here, and here we go again. Let's make sure that we're on our depth points layer. Go to layouts, rectangular, and there it is. Now this one doesn't need any kind of a scale, but you might want to make it something kind of normal, particularly if you're putting your words inside here. Okay. So the other way to do it, of course, is to put all your words on the outside. 1 = 1 isn't quite going to fit. The 1 = 2 does. But these have to be, when you're done, these letters have to be between 3/32 and 3/16. So that's 3/32, 0.09. Okay, if I want them to be bigger, then I have to go in and adjust the size. So now you've got a drawing title, you've got a title block, you've got an image, and you have words. So that takes care of those ones. And that's probably it for today. On Thursday, I'll do some more. And if I don't get them all done by then, you'll have at least one of each one. And you can ask me for a video or ask me for help. Okay. Oh, and I have to save it. Save. There we go. All right. Any questions as we finish up and before we log off? Okie dokie. Well, keep up the good work. I can't wait to see more good work coming through. And I'll go ahead and stop the recording.